Hundreds of U.S. Army paratroopers from Fort Bragg were deploying to the Middle East. Throughout the day, soldiers from the 82nd Airborne Division have been loading planes at Pope Army Airfield, leaving for the Middle East.
This comes in the wake of yesterday's attacks on the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. The State Department now says the attack was carried out by Iranian-backed terrorists. The embassy remains under tight security lockdown, with Apache helicopters flying over periodically in a show of force. Kaylee Strayer is in Fort Bragg and tells us more about the mission.
We were there as about 100 soldiers took off from Pope Army Airfield early this morning. Take a look. These are infantry soldiers with the 82nd Airborne Division boarding a C-17 plane before dawn on this New Year's Day. They're part of the immediate response force, ready to deploy anywhere in the world at a moment's notice. U.S. officials say about 750 soldiers will be deploying immediately. About 100 left this morning. They say this deployment is an appropriate and precautionary action taken in response to increased threat levels against the U.S., specifically in response to protesters attacking the U.S. Embassy in Iraq on Tuesday. I'm told more troops will be deploying from here throughout the day and throughout the week if needed.
President Trump says Iran will pay a high price for the attack, and some fear that could mean direct military conflict, but his supporters say he won't let that happen.
This president has gone at lengths to prevent another war, but at the same time, putting destructive measures, both economically and militarily, on Iran.
The Pentagon says up to 4,000 additional troops could be deployed to the Mideast in the coming days. It is unclear how many more, if any, will be from Fort Bragg. Today, Fort Bragg's Congressman, U.S. Representative Richard Hudson, released a statement about the deployment. Here it is. It says, when the president dials 911, Fort Bragg answers the call. Renee and I are praying for these paratroopers and their safe return home, for their families, and for all of America's men and women in uniform.
An 18-year-old